Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Soul Zero. I've been doing a little bit off camera here, just building out the colony a little bit more. Nothing too crazy. I did have like a disaster off camera, but it didn't destroy anything. It just killed a few colonists off and nothing more. So we're doing pretty good despite all of that, I would say. I just did a launch just before hitting record here. And I have some water problems right now due to it. So let's get those settled, shall we? The food actually still needs a little bit of a TLC there, but I can at least get the this other recycling center down. That will help with the water situation, at least, and then we'll get another farm here. And that will help get us the rest of the way to where we need to be. So you can see we can get up to 108 colonists here. Probably do one or two more as we go. There you go. There you go. Do that. And I'm not looking for any kind of record here. I was going to try to build out as many as I could on here, but it's really not. It's not that terribly necessary or necessarily interesting to do that. I just wanted to get a nice little colony going here. As I have mentioned before, we're going to be wrapping this series up, and actually, I didn't know when I was going to be wrapping it up, but I'm going to be wrapping it up today. This will be the episode that ends my video series on the game. I think we've had quite a run here, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we're going along here. But before we do that, we do have a few more things to do. I've gotten all the stuff down here. We've got the terraforming plant and all that stuff that we did last time around. What I'd like to do is, do we have enough? Yes. Let's refuel and launch this guy, and then I'm going to pump this guy all the way back up to the maximum. Well, just below the maximum, so that we still make a little bit of methane along the way, and just have him start to churn out some more ore for us. I think I've got the armor at 92%. We can actually do another armor upgrade, so let's just do that, just for the sake of argument. Might as well. And then I do want to start auto printing some supplies here, because the next launch I want to do, which is actually coming up fairly soon here, is just a colony ship, and I think that will be the final colony ship, the final push here, as it were. Before we get to that point, though, we do have to put one more thing down. We don't have a nuclear reactor. I could put one down. I just don't think it's necessary, honestly. So let's just put a monument down so we can sort of capstone this achievement, shall we? Do that, and then I think how are we doing with the biology? I think we're still fairly good here. I should probably do some more biology research, because we're going to need all the crops we can get, I would say. I do have some room for some more some of the greenhouses if we need it. Right now we're actually maxed out on our food storage and everything else, so we're good there for the time being, for the moment. Yeah, so I decided before recording here that I would do some more things on this colony, just to move it along a little bit, and then probably we'll most likely wrap this up in this episode. I know it's not an even number of episodes, and I could probably go till episode 130, but I do want to sort of end this. We've done quite a bit with the game, more than I ever thought I would do. But let's before we get into all the nostalgia, let's do one final launch for this colony here. Let's get ourselves a colony ship going, and we'll say get as many colonists as it will take, which is apparently 8 is all we can fit on the colony. All right, and away we go. Okay, our colonists are disembarking. We've hit 100 colonists on our colony here, so we got the Martian City Challenge. Since we've done that, I'm also going to declare independence just for the sake of argument. So let's do that. Just so that we know for sure that that's the final rocket that will be arriving here on the surface of this of Gilles here, and of course that means we are going to have a crush for more people here, but let's get the basic essentials done first before we worry about the people themselves. We've got this guy up here. Yeah, I should actually probably move these guys up higher up here so that they get to where they need to be a lot faster. Actually, you know, there's nothing that says I should just build them down here. Well, why not? There's nothing else really I'm doing over in this little section, so I might as well do that. Alright, so get that farm, get another one next to it. I'm going to just put 3 farms down. That should be enough for now, I would say, if my guy would pick up the stuff. There we go. Another farm, and then one more right next to it. Yep, I gotta redirect them myself. And one more right next to it. There we go. Alright, let's get the microflora on these. And I have just enough of that one type there. Let's do that, and then that. There we go. That should give us more than enough. Also, we need water. I don't think I have any space anywhere. There is like one free space there, but I don't think it's big enough. I think I built right up against it. So what I'm going to do is just build a water cryo tank just anywhere. I'm just going to put it over here, and then I can just put the stuff around it, and it'll just act as additional storage. Right there, do that. I know there is one up here, a little ice thing up there in the corner, but I'm not gonna worry about it. It's not that huge a deal anyway. All right, so we'll grab this. We'll get some more resources into that. We'll get the recycling thing on there, which we need sooner rather than later because our water supply is going quite down. I guess I could pump this guy up to the maximum rate because we're not going to be launching any more things that require methane. Let's get that going. Our power is fairly decent. I've been trying to keep ahead of it here. I made another row of geothermal plants. So that's the thing I've done. Oh, no, come back here. I'm glad you picked that one up. Because we need a recycling center right there, please. That will work out well, I'd say. And yeah, they're already making babies, so we gotta hurry up here and get some more living space for them.
Base, do you read me?
All right, so now I'm just gonna do a little offshoot here. We'll get another one of these down, along with another oxygen generator. So let's do that right now, if we so can. Alright, so our water is increasing, which is nice, and our food is maxed out. Also, very nice. Cool. So, it's as tradition for me at the end of when we approach the end of a series, I should probably talk about what I liked and what I thought of the game. First, a little bit of history in case you haven't been following all the way around. I first heard of the game, Soul Zero here, on Reddit. I believe it was on our Play My Game, but it could have been indie games too. I don't remember at this point. It's been a while. The first episode of the game that I put up was on December the 15th of 2013, back in the infancy of my channel. My channel actually started, I believe, in July, I believe, of 2013. So this was only a few months into my channel that I started to do the series on this. My first episode, How to Fail Your First Mission. Actually, at this point, I just took a look at it. It was something like 5,300, just over 5,300 views. That's over the course of, that's lifetime views, over the course of the 2 years, just short of 2 years and 4 months since then. And I've been playing the game fairly regularly since then. I did take a small break in the middle there at one point, but I've been playing it fairly regularly. At first it was just, I believe, 1 episode a week. Then I eventually went to 2 episodes a week, and now we are on, I think this is episode 127. So it's been quite the journey. Started out the game, I think, in Alpha 0.2, I believe it was, one of those. I had bought the game on the developer's website, and I really enjoyed it. I still do enjoy it. I'm talking in the past here, but I still do enjoy the game quite a lot. It's not your typical RTS game, and I think that's what maybe possibly turns a few people off to it. People who like real-time strategy games are used to real-time strategy games being sort of player versus the computer, but in a how would you call it? I mean, normally you would call it PvE, which is player versus environment, but I'm sort of making a distinction there where it's really player versus AI in most real-time strategy games. And what differentiates this one from all of that is that this is really straight up PvE. You're not fighting a computer enemy, you're fighting the environment, you're fighting natural disasters, you're fighting to keep your colonists alive, and you know, stuff like, you know, things of that nature. And for me, I know for a lot of people who like real-time strategy games, that tends to be a sticking point, because you're used to one certain way of doing things and someone else comes in and tries something a little bit different, and it's maybe not necessarily the type of thing you enjoy. So I think that might turn a lot of people off to it. I can't think of too many games that have done that with the real-time strategy. The only one that really comes to mind right now where it's like this, where you have the ability to where you're not in a war simulation, you're in a colony simulation, or some semblance of that would be Off-World Trading Company, which is an economic simulator that I think is either has been released or is very, very close to being released in the future here. So that's it's a game that I've played a little bit of off camera, and I think I actually did a side quest video of it at some point. But it's also one of those where your primary goal is to go against, is to not fight a war. It's just to colonize and expand, basically. You know, if you look at a 4X game, instead of, it would be the explore and I guess the exploit, and not the exterminate or the other X. I always forget every time I try to think in my head what all the 4X's are. I always forget which one is which. So you know, from that perspective, I've really enjoyed the game because I can play this game. This is my nice casual go-to game. Like I don't have to be twitchy fingers. I don't have to have like macros set up on my keyboard. I don't need, you know, what's some of the other StarCrafty things, like number of actions per second or any of that stuff. It's just a nice little unwind, right? And it feels really good to just be able to just have a game that's just, you know, casual. It's got a little bit of strategy involved. It's not, you know, mind-bogglingly difficult in any stretch of the imagination, but it's a nice little time sink, if you will, and that's why I've enjoyed it so much as I have. I mean, I've been it's the only game that I can point at and say the only real-time strategy game I can point out and say I've been playing this thing for 2 years now. The only other game I've been playing for 2 years is Cube World, and that's, you know, that's just the nature of these games that just allow me to sit here and play them for so long and just enjoy them quite a lot. Now, I mean, the music in the game, the music selection is pretty good. I mean, it is all, from what I can tell, it's all, what's his name? The free music guy, and I forget his name now. I used some of his tracks before. Incompetech, whatever that. I forget the author's name, but it's all those tracks. But they work out well. I think they're all a very good selection for the game that we're playing. And let's see, what else? Oh, I need power desperately. Let's get some geothermal plants down here. I just noticed I'm at 2 kilowatts. That's not good. And so I don't mind that it's like freely available stuff. You know, I mean, I think it works well for this game, because especially since this particular track that's playing right now, I actually ran across another game that I have in my library, that in my Steam library, that actually uses this track, and it's completely out of place. Like in this game, it feels spot on, but in the other game that I was playing, it was completely out of place. It wasn't even a space game. It was just some other game that I was playing, and it's and I immediately recognized the track because I'm so used to hearing it here, and to hear it in a completely different context, it doesn't work, but it works here, I think. So I think that's a tribute to a good choices and good design. The dev has been very focused on making the exact game that they wanted to make, in order to have it stay focused, and have it be, instead of being just another real-time strategy game, have it be a focused one, have it be a nice casual one. There's been a lot of input from the community. I mean, we have a map editor that wouldn't have ever happened had there not been input from the community. Several other features along the way, obviously bug fixes and the like. And we just had version 1.02 come out, which has basically all what you've been seeing already, because I've been playing the tester version of it, the beta version, which was 1.02 for last couple weeks. But it now has localization, so there'll be some localized files coming out. You'll be able to see it in your own languages in the future, and it's very, I think it's very good for what it is. I'm not saying that it's like, it's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to make you question your choice of real-time strategy games up to this point. It's certainly not going to unseat, a Homeworld, Deserts of Karak, or a StarCraft, or a Master of Orion, or anything like that. And it's not really meant to either. It's just very good for what it does, and it's. The tech tree is not complicated, it's not long. It does suffer from, the tutorials are still not really what they should be. I mean, one of the impeti, is that a plural of that? Like, it is now. One of the impetuses of my initial video on this game was that there was no tutorial at the time, and I had noticed a lot of feedback on Reddit and whatnot that people just didn't know they couldn't get into the game because they didn't know how to play it. It just didn't make any sense, because it is a different thought process than normal. You're used to like an Age of Empires or something like that, where you're building this empire and you're going to conquer all, and you're going to level up your tech tree and all this stuff, and it's not really the way this works. This is more of a colony building sim. So it's my initial video was really there to hopefully show people how to actually play the game, because there was a lot of feedback about that people didn't know how to do it. And at first, when I picked up the game, I didn't know how anything worked. In fact, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because it just kind of drops you in there. And I knew I always had to build a colony, but I didn't know what was going on, like why things weren't working. And then it wasn't until I actually went on the website for the game that I noticed that the tech tree was there, and I could see all the lines and everything, and I said, oh, okay, this is what has happened. This is the progression. And once I got that in my mind, I was able to put two and two together. And even today, like, the tutorial is good for the basics, but it doesn't really tell you where to go from there. It just kind of says, do this, and do that, and then that's that. It doesn't really give you the necessarily overarching goals, or how everything fits together, or what kind of progression you're supposed to make. It just kind of just says, here you go. And there's positives and negatives to all of that. Where's this Dust Devil at? Oh, he's over in the corner there. Okay. So from that perspective, I can see that I can see the frustration from the community from that. I think one of the things that's lacking right now, if I were to talk about features, is when my hard drive went on the fritz and I had to reinstall everything, I had to go through great pains to grab all the save files and bring them over, and even then they don't necessarily work. You have to sort of meddle with them a little bit sometimes. So when occasionally when you upgrade it, sort of, the save file doesn't necessarily work. Little things like that, especially when you don't have things unlocked that you used to have unlocked. It's a bit fiddly, and I think integrating that, having everybody's save be in the cloud, having cloud saves, I think would be a major boon to the game. But that said, I don't know exactly how many people have bought the game. I get the impression that it's not insanely popular. It's also not unknown, I would say. I think it's just it's different enough from the pack that a lot of people just haven't seen it, or they see a little video of it and they're like, nah, I don't really want that. I got this other thing I would rather have, or nah, that doesn't really interest me as much as I would hope that it would, or those kinds of things. So, and all that's understandable. It's hard. It's hard to take a concept that people are familiar with and twist it just ever so slightly. You tend to lose you don't really have the appeal of the hardcore fans, and the other people who would not necessarily look or like real-time strategy games, who would probably like this because it's not really a real-time strategy. It is and it isn't. Don't see it because they're not looking for it either. So it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't kind of situation. But I think it's still. That said, I've immensely enjoyed all my time in it. I'll continue to be playing it just off camera. I'm not going to be doing it on the channel anymore. My thoughts around that is, I try to run a variety channel. I like variety in my life, even though I still love playing this game. There's a lot of games that I've been putting on hold that I also would like to get into. Because I don't want to overload the channel. I mean, I'm kind of pushing my luck now as it is. I've got a lot of series going on, more than I ever thought I could do, but I just happen to be ahead of the game on several of the long-running series, which is why I'm able to churn out a few more. But there's only so many time slots in a day before people are like, you know what, you're just spamming my sub box now. And they just start unsubscribing because you're just giving too many videos. So I'm always trying to balance the two things, and I feel like from the perspective of someone who enjoys this game, someone who I feel I've given the game a really good shake through. I think you've seen quite a lot of things. I've done almost every map that I could, including some community maps, which were actually really released on the Steam Workshop kind of thing. This is one of those released on the Steam Workshop, and it's you know, I'm very happy with how this all turned out. I had no idea when I started all those years ago that I would still be playing it up to this day. Even I thought I would get maybe 30-40 episodes in. I'd go through one time, play through the game one time, and then that would be it. And that was not it. I was quite surprised by it. The channel's been featured on the Soul Zero press kit for a while. I was actually contacted by the dev, and they asked me if I would mind having my video linked on their one of my videos linked on their press kit, and I said sure, go for it. That's awesome. So, and in all honesty, Soul Zero is. I can point at this series and say this is the series that I think got a lot of people a lot of exposure to my channel. Because whenever a video like this would come out, I would get a ton of views, and then I would see the subscribers go up on that, and it still, even to this day, contributes to the subscriber count. Maybe not as much as it used to, but I definitely got 2 very large bumps due to this, and that's also kind of the other reason why I've been continuing to play it on the channel, is because I really, not only do I enjoy it, but it's also been bringing a lot of people in who otherwise would not would never have other people that they would rather watch for other things that I play. So it was the only thing really is making my channel stand out from the others, I guess, is what I was trying to get at there, without being no malice or anything there. So I think that about covers the history. That about covers what we've done here. You can see we're at our 113 colonists here. We can get up to 120, where our colony is making food, plenty of food. We got plenty of water being made right now. I think it's safe to say this is a quite self-sufficient colony. The only thing I haven't done is I need to get out to 10 years in order to get the other badge, but I'm not gonna. That's a lot of waiting around, and we've done that already in the past. Here, I'm already at almost half an hour now for the series length. So I just wanted to take this time to show you my colony, my final video recorded colony here. We've got 113 colonists and counting. I am just barely cracking above 60 FPS. We're at about 64 FPS right now. So it's certainly taking its toll. Where we started out this colony, I think it was at 123 or so. So there's a definite performance impact there, but it's still chugging along quite nicely, I would say. So I think we can put this colony to bed now, I would say. This is the Gales 916C or something like that. What is it, 418C? I forget now. Let's go take a look at it on the menu. All right, where is it at? It's Gales 667 CC. That was the colony we were just doing. You can see we got almost everything except for the Independence Challenge, and we've done that. We did a little bit on Titan. No, we didn't do Titan. We did Europa. We did Triton. Ice Moon's just a generic thing. Rhynoc Crater I have done once before, I believe, in an earlier episode. The moon we were on. I did not do Europa because we've seen enough snow and ice, I think, for a little while. I did Circes. If we go back to the main area here, we did Gusev Crater. I've done, actually, in various series, I've done all of these maps, including Memnonia and the landing ellipse generator, which is just a random generator. The only thing I haven't shown on camera is the training, but I think at this point you can kind of figure out what the training is. But I did want to take an opportunity to listen to this fantastic main menu music as well, because every time I start this game up, I get this in my headphones, and it puts me in a nice, relaxed mood. But I think that sums up all my thoughts on Soul Zero. I think if you maybe aren't a fan of real-time strategy games and you want something that doesn't require you to be a fan of them, I think Soul Zero is great for you. If you are a fan of real-time strategy games, but you don't mind having something that's a little bit more casual and a little bit more laid back, and you're not constantly fighting or struggling for territory or stuff like that, definitely try out Soul Zero. Definitely, there's a demo where you can play it for free for a little bit. It's not a lot of money. It's on Steam. You can also get it DRM free from the developer's website if you so desire. Definitely, I would say, go for it. It's only $6, I believe, US, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's worth a look if you're looking around for something new, I would say. But as is the case always, all good things must come to an end, my friends. And as I end series, I always change up the way I end the episode. Normally I would say, see you next time. But in this case, I say, thanks so much for watching, everybody. And I will see you in the next series.